All right, guys, welcome back here. A little bit of a different location, but we got a special guest joining us. Say hello to Drew, owner of Twin Bowers.
What up?
All right.
What it is.
So just want to kind of show you guys a little different style of an interview we can do, and this doesn't have to necessarily be in person. It's just we live together, so this is pretty easy. But we could do the same thing over the phone with one of you guys. So again, not everybody's got to do the full-on detail of going through and doing research and having a full-on hour interview with us. So this will probably be, anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. Easy peasy. We'll kind of give Drew some question and answers real quick, talking about the direction of his team, and we'll get his picks from him, and then we'll kind of move on. So first things first, Drew, how you feeling about your team so far this year?
I think they had a little bit of a rocky start and some injuries and then some bye weeks happening, kind of, kill your team, but that's everybody. But I think I'm definitely trending in the right direction. I think I just keep getting better.
Yeah, so we were just kind of looking over a little bit of your numbers before we sat down here, and noticing that you're winning 3 straight games here. And in those last 3, it looks like you're averaging probably around 135, which I don't know if you watch many of our videos, but kind of we talk about the 120-point number as being kind of that milestone for teams to get wins, and it seems to be holding true for you. Do you feel like you can kind of hold that rolling forward here, looking like a slow start to your week with Bo Nix out there on Thursday night?
And Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think if my running backs can have a good week, I think I'll be able to pull through. First of all, I just want to hand Donnie an L. First time being on video, but Donnie. I had to call Donnie.
You're right. Is that who you beat last week?
No, it was like 2-3 weeks ago.
Okay.
But I just wanted to call him out.
Yeah.
And Mark.
You just knock them off one by one.
No.
And this is kind of the important thing, with you on this 3-game winning streak. I know you don't really watch a lot of the stuff on our videos when we're not talking about your game specifically, but me and Jason talk about this a lot. In winning these games when you're not in the division, and how important that is for you, because that's the first tiebreaker we go to when you're going to tiebreaker against these other. We have like 4 teams that are sitting 5-3 right now.
Yeah, I think I'm
and when I am too. But
and
when
I'm facing
AJ
Masterclass.
So when you can have the wins over that team, that's going to be the leg up to get you in the playoffs. So when you're sitting in the 3rd spot in your own division, that's why it's so important for you to win these games. So that being said, though, how do you feel about your roster moving forward? Because if I already know what's on this show that I'm kind of editing right now, and me and Jason spend a lot of time talking about trades, and we have a very differing opinion on your team specifically. Jason feels like you're a trade away. I feel like you're sitting pretty. So I just kind of want to hear it from the horse's mouth where you think you're at.
I mean, I feel like I'm not closed off to trades, but I think my team's pretty good where it's at. I mean, I don't know if I'll go looking for a trade, but I might think about it if I was offered a trade.
Yeah, and that makes sense, and that's kind of a good approach there. And I think the way Jason put it is kind of like looking for 1 or 2 trades, and if you strike out there, then you just strike out.
I think really for me, it's just who I play in the right week. Because sometimes I got had Devontae Smith scoring 27, had him on my bench. This is I got to play the right guys in the right weeks.
And that's exactly what Jason talks about specifically, being the problem and why he thinks you should trade. I think it's, given the body of work that we've had with this season so far and all the injuries we're seeing, I think you're the person that can withstand injuries.
I think I have a backup at each position that can step in if an injury happens.
Yeah,
I pray and none of my players get injured.
Right. I mean, dude, we got Carson Wentz starting games, and you got these odd quarterbacks that are just kind of. J.J. McCarthy, I believe, is going to be a starting quarterback this week because guys are in that position because they haven't built the depth.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the depth you have. It's a big difference in opinion on me and Jason on where you should go with that roster, and I think you should kind of sit tight and just again try to rock and roll and just try to make your way into the playoffs. Because I think once you get there, anything can happen.
Yeah, I don't think I have a heavy hitter averaging projected 20 a week, but I have every guy averaging 17 or 15 a week.
And when the numbers are there, again with the averaging 135 here in the last 3 games, it kind of justifies that. And again, that kind of goes back to the difference in opinions that we have, and the fact that I think that's where you want to be. He thinks you need to take the next step up to get to Braden and Scott Ward, and I think that's where he's trying to put you, and he kind of has you kind of mixed there in the middle. I will tell you are my biggest mover in power rankings this week, and I believe Jason's as well. We both actually settled on you in the 5 spot, so you're actually well ingrained in the playoff picture, and that's actually where ESPN now has you too. So we were actually all in agreement this week, which was weird. So again, as far as your roster goes, I think you're in great shape. I think you're ready to make a playoff push. But if there's anything that you would be willing to trade more so than one thing or the other, is it Devontae Smith? Is that your
I'd
kind
say Devontae Smith and Jalen Warren are in that category.
And that's a good. Would you package them together?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good package, guys. If you're watching this part, there, that is something. If you have a need, I would assume you would probably want to upgrade. What would your upgrade be?
I'd say running back for sure.
Okay, so if you got a running back, you see what kind of two players he's willing to offer. If you have something that's willing to work with that, there you go. So make it happen, Captain. Anyway, I'm gonna jump off here for just a second. Let you pull up your notes here, and we'll kind of get into some game picks for the upcoming week.
Cool.
All right, we're going to jump right back in here, man. We're going to get right into it for games of the week. We're going to do this a little bit different, too. I know all these other guys that's been on the show do all the research, and they kind of break down the rosters, position by position, come up with a winner. I'm going to kind of put you on the spot and do something a little bit different. It's going to be more of a rapid fire style. So I know you haven't really got a chance to look at much here. Maybe within the last couple minutes would be your only window of kind of advanced notice here. But let's get right after it, man. First game of the week, we're going to have Twin Bowers versus Justin Jefferson's Masterclass. Where are you going?
I mean, we all know where that's going. I mean, Twin Bowers takes him down for sure.
All right. Next game up is going to be Short Bus Driver versus that Beats by Ray team that everybody's had bottomed out there. But I tell you, dude, he did put up a pretty good score last week, and he's had some decent scoring opportunities this year. So where you at there?
I'd definitely say Jason takes him down, considering I don't know if he has a receiver to replace George Pickens on the bye.
I think he's still sitting in the starting line. All right, third game up, man, is me, Motorboaters versus Mark's Monstrous. And I will give you a little teaser, dude. Jason picked against me this week and actually chose Mark's Monstrous.
That's a hard one.
It is. It's a 50-50 in my opinion.
I'm going to go with you. I'd say you because of, how poorly he played against me. But without looking into it too much, I'm just going to go with you.
I did put up my highest score last week of the year, so it's not completely out there. Fifth game, I believe, maybe. I Know Ball versus the Warden. I have this as the game of the week.
Oh, yeah, I have this as game of the week, too. And I think Braden does take him here, unfortunately.
Yeah. Do you agree, though, and this was a discussion we were having, because when you look at the points that Scott's scoring, and ESPN actually had him in the one spot last week, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when you look at those rosters, it's kind of a first time where you can just side by side look at those two rosters. Do you not agree that there's kind of a big discrepancy there where Braden is quite a bit better?
Yeah, because I'd say, Smith and Jigba and Lamar together is pretty lethal.
It's pretty filthy, and I think I wanted to be able to get Scott up there, but when I seen those rosters side by side, it kind of held me off.
And Taylor as well, and Taylor's going to want to have a comeback week for sure.
So I don't think that's a bad pick there, but it will be an interesting game to see kind of unfold. I'm looking forward to breaking that one down next week. We got two more games here: Big Fish versus Battle Busters, grandson versus granddad, Yeah.
I got this as the game of the week, honorable mention. And I think Dan takes him here, but I think it'll be a good matchup for sure. Definitely down to the last player or whatever.
Well, Battle's been turning around here the last couple weeks. Got a huge win against Justin Jefferson last week, so we'll see if he can kind of keep it rocking and rolling. I tell you what, you need a loss from Dan.
Really?
I believe so. Is that your division?
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And then I would put him at the same. If I win this week, the same amount of losses.
Yeah. So that's kind of where you're at. You're trying to figure out how to get over one of those guys in front of you. So. All right, we'll move on to the last game of the week, man. It's going to be Bedtime versus Team Johnson. They're already off to a pretty even start, so where are you going there?
I definitely have to take Donnie here. I don't know if I can't support a Chuba Hubbard in the running starting lineup, but, he does have Warren and Pittman, but I think Bedtime takes this one for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not too far off from that one, although I do think this one might be a little bit closer than expected, but yeah, I can see it going that way as well. Dude, I appreciate you taking a few minutes sitting down here. Before we get out, we did have a blockbuster trade that happened last night after we recorded. This is actually the first and only part that will make it into the video where I'm actually able to address that trade. So, obviously, you seen me in the group chat last night singing the praises about that trade. Did you look at, the pieces of it?
I did, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
I was just pretty impressed that it was, it involved basically keepers.
I know it was a 3-pick or 3 for 2, right?
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Yeah, and Josh Allen was packaging that.
But I guess, does that give you, those are teams that are right on your my heels.
Yeah.
Or I guess we're kind of all in the same boat. Does that worry you a little bit for them?
I don't know. I don't know if I can get down with the whole like revamping your whole team this
Yeah.
deep into the season. I wouldn't do. I just unless it's like you're bottomed out and that's all you can do. I'd rock with what you got.
Yeah, it's weird to be stuck right there in a playoff chase and making that big of
Yeah.
a roster turnover there. So anyway, well, Drew, I appreciate you taking a few minutes, man. If you got anything to say, I'll give you just a minute here to call out whoever you want to call out. You got all kinds of family and friends in this group, so time is yours.
I would look out. That's all I gotta say. Whoever's facing me, that's all I gotta say. Look out.
You heard it here first, guys. Thanks again, Drew.
Yep.
Guys, keep us in mind. We got a different way you can do an interview. Appreciate Drew taking a minute.
Yep.
We'll get back to the regular show. See you guys. All right. I'd like to thank Drew for kind of taking a few moments there. I just want to kind of give you guys a new take on how we can incorporate guests, guys. You don't have to do the full-on sit down for a freaking hour and do an interview. We can take a little 5-minute segment, just kind of put a face to the name, let everybody kind of get to know each other a little bit. And I encourage you guys to all want to do that. So thank you, Drew. Hopefully we can find somebody else to be the next one. But let's move into the games upcoming.
First one's up. Motorboaters versus Monstrous.
Well,
I'll tell you right now, favorite right now, according to ESPN, Monstrous team.
For ESPN being what they are, a network made up of a bunch of fucking people just like us, I'm not surprised.
Not quite as smart as us.
Right. I'm not surprised. Although, I do think Mark is as good at this point in the season as he could possibly be from where he started.
Yeah, his team, he is a guy that actually has worked on his team every week. Even down low in the rankings where he could get discouraged and quit real easy, he's still chipping and clawing and trying to do what he can.
Yeah, it's like you wanted to give Manager of the Year to Dan. I feel like we could have most improved.
Mark would be one of those teams to be involved in that.
Most improved or Manager of the Year. But I mean, I'm telling you, he's working. He's improved every position. I think he's done a pretty good job.
I think if you actually go back and look, and maybe we should at some point to see how many guys are still on your original team that you drafted. I bet you he maybe got one or two guys.
Right. Yeah, but he's doing it, and it's working. Well, it's not working to win, but I think it's starting to get him a little more acclimated to fantasy football. I bet you he's going to be a team to be reckoned with next year.
Oh yeah,
I think he's excited about it. I think he's in, and you see it in the group chat as far as his willingness to be back next year. So I'm excited for it. As far as the game this week, I'm still going to go with myself. After my highest output of the year, I'm a little confused on. I know I have a few changes here. Chase Brown's out, do a bye. I don't. That is a little bit tough. I did luck into DeMarco. Maybe I can kind of catch a little flyer there. But again, though, my last week's total is, 12 points higher than the highest he scored all year. I don't know how I'm going to kick against myself here, but I would understand if you did.
Yeah, I'm actually going to call this my upset, even though I don't know if it's really
Record-wise,
it would be an upset. I am taking Mark on this one here. I think it comes down to probably a point or two, less than 10, obviously. I think just all the injuries you had all year, your running backs are just kind of. I'm hoping for the best sometimes. I mean, I know there for a while you're going with a couple.
Oh, I mean, I'm definitely it's patchwork all year.
You had a couple shining stars with Herbert and with Adams, but I think this year or this week, Mark might get you.
Moving on.
Next one up, Twin Bowers, moving up the rankings versus Justin Jefferson, the guy that we've had moving down the rank.
Big time, dude. I got him like free falling.
I will say he gets one running back that he has on his team back from injury with Swift. But still, I don't think he's got another running back out there to really play.
No, and while I do like the other parts of his roster, I think that's just becoming such a glaring thing. And then when you couple the fact that we've talked about this before, while Swift is out, what happens? You got a guy that comes in and lights up the scoreboard. So it's not that it runs you off the field, but maybe it takes 5 carries from you.
Yeah,
you take some goal line touches.
You think with the way they put those news on, it attaches that Q to your player or the O to your player, even known to jump on there right away and pick up that backup. But I'm definitely going to win here. he got a little bit more firepower back with Bowers. Like I said, he's creeping up. He's creeping up. He's like knocking on that door with the top teams trying to get in.
So I can't remember the last time I picked against Twin Bowers. It's been a while, and I'm riding that team.
Yeah, I think yeah.
And maybe not.
I don't know.
I've looked ahead at the schedule, and I do feel like it's probably coming up in a couple of weeks where I might have to pick against him. I don't think this is the week.
Yeah.
He's got some tough matchups coming. It's probably going to happen. I've talked about it all along that these are the games he has to win. I think he's going to win this week.
Well, moving on.
All right, we got the Warden versus I Know Ball in what I classify as the game of the week. This is number 1 versus number
Yeah,
2 in our power.
Let's flex this one to the primetime game.
Yeah, and oddly enough, this is the same reason I was able to separate 1 versus 2, which is makes it an easy. As much as I think it's going to be the game of the week, I think it's kind of an easy game to pick. I got I Know Ball, and I actually have it. I'm going to say double digits.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think I Know Ball on an average week wins this game 8 or 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going this route. I mean,
I think Warden can win the game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if he does, but I think it takes the great week for him.
yeah,
An average week for Brady wins.
exactly. So I'm definitely going I Know Ball on this one.
So sorry guys, we couldn't sit and talk about it longer, but this is going to be a fun one to review.
Yeah, this is going to be a game that we're going to spend a lot of
Yeah.
time on next week.
Yeah.
So
So stick around for that.
you'll get your glory on that one for sure.
Right. So next game up, go for it.
Big Fish against Battle. I think Big Fish is definitely the pick here. I mean, I think his roster is far better. Like I said, when Rico's doing what he's doing, and that was just an added on piece to his team that was already good. So
Well, I mean, it's I made fun of him in the last video with Wandale Robinson, and I think he's kind of solidifying as the number 1 there. And I got Darius Slayton, so I'm monitoring that Giants receiver room, obviously without Malik Neighbors. Wandale Robinson seems to be the guy. I think that even just kind of elevates Big Fish just enough. Obviously, I think this is an easy game. I think that's what keeps him up in that top 4.
the one thing that interests me in this game more than anything is Puka, that injury situation. He didn't finish that last game. He had good numbers in the game, but didn't finish the game, and that was just coming off another injury.
Right.
I think he can win this game with a
He
limited
probably
Puka.
would win without one.
So moving on, Beats versus the bus driver.
So we know where I'm going. This should only take a couple seconds to pretty much break down. James Cook is now questionable, so it only makes Beats by Ray even beatable-er.
Beatable-er. Did you pick that one up?
I did just now. But like, I don't see this one as even being close. I mean, even a bad week, I think you win this game.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a really bad week for me to not win this one.
But yeah, I got SBD all
Yeah,
day.
me too.
All right, last matchup of the week. Moving on to Team Johnson versus Bedtime. This is going to be actually an interesting matchup in my opinion. What do you got, Jason?
This is my second upset. I'm taking Johnson.
Well, holy shit! You stole my thunder.
Oh, sorry about that. Hang on. What are you taking?
I'm taking Team Johnson.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I mean, I think he's due to win one. Bedtime, he's kind of been slipping lately. I do think his running backs are really good. But I
I don't
just,
like anything after that. Is my problem.
yeah, that's where I'm at.
You know what I mean? And that's why I have Bedtime. And honestly, if it wasn't for Saquon Barkley and the fact that Josh Jacobs is really on a career year for himself, I would have Donnie below me because I don't really see much else in that roster. And I think now you're starting to see with Ladd struggling, and now he's got a trio of tight ends he's got to try to pick from each week.
Right.
Why do you want to do that mix?
Right.
And they're all about the same too.
Yeah,
so he's going to throw up zero or not zero. He's going to throw up 2s and 3s occasionally for the rest of the year because he's picking between mediocre tight ends.
Right. So yeah, and then Johnson on the other side. We talked earlier how well London's been playing.
He's obviously got Mahomes.
Yep, obviously got Mahomes.
Oh, he's got Hurts.
No Mahomes this week. Hurts is
Yeah,
back.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Mahomes is out, right?
Yeah, I'm behind this
Yeah.
week. I think Colts going to bounce back a little bit this week.
That's what I mean. So you're coupling. Who was that receiver you just talked about?
With
Team Johnson.
he's got
London.
Pittman. London with
Yeah,
Pittman.
so London with Pittman and Warren.
Warren,
That's,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like a team we have ranked 11 in the power
No.
rankings.
I think he's got some solid pieces.
Yeah, so I think it's actually going to start to come together for him. I know he's also looking for a pretty good trade here to kind of close out the year. I think he's already admitted to himself that he's not going to be a playoff team. I don't have him out of the playoffs yet.
Not yet.
This is going to probably
this might be the week
put
that-
him. Yeah, this is going to be it.
This might decide things for him.
No, we got him winning.
We
We'll
got
see
him.
Johnson next week.
We got you, brother.
All right, guys, that's our picks for this week, man. Kind of a weird show this week
Yeah,
with no
a little
guests.
different. It's nice. Last week we got to be able to change how we do things on the back end. Made things work a little better for us.
Yeah.
Kind of got a little system in place, so hopefully the quality and what you guys are seeing is getting better and better each week.
Yeah,
Obviously, the knowledge you're getting is spectacular every week. There's never no complaints there.
I mean, I'm telling you right now, I watched the ESPN shows and the game days and things like that, and I mean, I think we're equally as good as those guys.
Yeah, they just make shit up.
Yeah, they just pull stat sheets and that's all they do.
What they do is have interns do it for them.
Right. So one thing I want to talk about last week, obviously, I was 4-2.
Shit, I don't even know.
4-2, I think.
4-2 or
Yeah.
3-3, I couldn't remember.
Ooh, Dan was 4-2, I
I
know.
think I might have been 3-3.
But yeah, I think so. But that was the picks. Hopefully we'll get Drew's picks on here too. I'm gonna do rapid fire picks with him, so that's probably you probably already watched that if you're still watching. Other than that, guys, if you got something you want us to do, if you got anything you want to say, please talk in the group chat. And again, I do feel like we need to kind of designate a night where we kind of have an open forum. And I do like that Wednesday. I know Donnie is Scott 2.0, dude. Like, for real, man. These fucking grumpy guys. Anyway,
I think he was the old man of the group.
I know. And he'll tell you, he is like, dude, you're not. You're probably the fifth youngest. I know it's not for Donnie, but I like the idea of having an open forum on Wednesdays. Obviously, the group chat can be open, 7 days a week.
Right.
But Wednesday's a good day because it's right after our waiver wire pickups, and it's right before our games start on Thursday.
Right.
So it's a good kind of in between from one week to the next to be able to just kind of, hey guys, let's talk about anything. Hey, kind of, if you're trying to get in touch with somebody, do it in that group chat.
It's another good opportunity, even during the week on Sunday, just start talk a little trash in
Yeah.
there if you want to. I mean, the more we put into it, the better the league gets. So
Yeah, and so that kind of dives into some of the things that you've seen me do over the last couple days or week, I guess. We're throwing some ideas and options out there. And guys, I don't want you to think that I'm complacent in what I'm, that I feel like we need to do this, that, or the other. What I'm trying to do is be the voice of voices. So ideas that I hear from other owners, I want to put out to you because I don't want to be just the guy who just says this is what we're doing because I say we're doing it.
yeah, and I would encourage guys to continue to give in ideas, changes, the points, changes to anything. And that way we can open up and discuss it. Obviously, once you get into a season, there's not a whole lot of changes you can make. But we talked about this, I think today or the other day, that, hey, we got to keep these ideas that we're talking about throughout the season. At the end of the season, decide what are we going to do for next season, put those changes in place if we're going to change anything. I mean, the only time to really make changes is the tail end of our season.
Exactly, and kind of that kind of just touches right on the fact that I wanted to kind of try to hammer home here with, the reason I brought it up now is because everybody's locked in. We try to do this, we try to have these conversations in July. Nobody's really in football mode yet.
And not only that is you can't make changes draft day
And we can't make changes during the season.
because draft day, everybody's showing up with their draft boards geared towards these rules. And you say we're going to change the rule all of a sudden, then you're going to need to have a good time for everybody to adjust. So
Yeah.
end of the season, as we get into playoffs, we're going to really start ramping up. Is there any tweaks that we need to make?
Yeah.
Kind of announce it around our Super Bowl time or our recap of season video.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there.
Yeah, so I feel pretty good about some of the feedback that I've actually gotten. I know it kind of turned into a shit show yesterday, and that's okay. I mean, I do, and that's kind of the old heads, guys, and like I get it. It's all fun and games to make a joke out of everything I say. But sometimes I'm actually just trying to get some of these younger guys or younger fantasy guys, not younger people, but the younger fantasy players to just open up and engage in the conversation so I can try to get a gauge on what they want out of the league.
Right.
So it's, not everything is, I get it. It's fun to just make the jokes all the time, but all it does is just stop other people from actually making real comments. It just turns everything into a joke. So help me help you. And whenever I ask a question, just give me a fucking answer.
One thing I will tell you guys, and I kind of joked about this last night on the chat. Obviously, there's ideas we need to kick around if we want to change anything, but don't make a brash decision on changing something in the league that, yeah, it affects you right now. Think about long term, overall, the whole group, those kind of things. Because, by the time we put the change you say into play next year, you might be in a totally different position, and all of a sudden that move might be the one that cost you something.
Sorry, Johnson.
So keep those things in mind whenever you're putting these things out there.
Yeah, and that kind of just it goes into what I was really ultimately trying to do there on starting the conversation is it really quick gets into like thinking that I'm wanting to do this because of or as a result of, what I mean? Whenever really all I'm trying to do is get a sense of where everybody feels like we could do better. So that's why I always put options out there because just the options alone tell me how you're thinking. So I already feel like the conversation we had last night's not over. It's going to come back up, and I feel like I have found the compromise, but I'm not going to bring it back up until the playoffs start because Jason is right. We can't obviously have those realistic conversations in the middle of the season like I thought adults could. But we will come back when the time's right and start to make decisions.
But you still want to bring those things up during the season while you're thinking of them.
Yeah, you guys, not me. You guys. Yes. I won't bring anything up in the season.
Yeah, keep bringing them out to us. Keep bringing them up.
And I think that's kind of where things get misconstrued is because I'm bringing it up. People think that maybe I'm wanting to make a change or, well, I'm doing it because nobody else just seems to want to do it.
Right.
But anyway, guys, the more activity, the better we get. It's just like what we're doing here. The more we put into this show, the better it gets for you guys. That's why we keep trying to make tweaks and changes. You do it to your roster. Help us do it to the league.
Right on. Have a great week.
See you guys next week.